I mean, all
So
I'm taking away from this is that we're doing Valentine's Day wrong, guys. We all just need to be having big orgies because that's
that's
how
what I
it
take of
started.
it.
That is how it started. You send someone an invite to your orgy, you sign it as their Valentine, so you got that little aspect to it, and then you all just take your kit off and just have at each other.
Hmm.
Doesn't that
Hmm.
sound so much more fun than
I mean, I'd be
spending
down for that.
80 quid on a 5-course meal? Hello and welcome to another episode of Finish Podcast. We are your hosts, Hayley and Abi, and in today's episode, love is in the air. Or so it is for most of the population of the earth right now, as Valentine's Day approaches. And in our episode, we're going to be talking about whether it actually holds any significance to people, or if it's just a money-grabbing scheme. And I think, to be fair, me and Hayley both are in agreement of what our thoughts are, aren't we, Hayley?
Yes, yeah, which is really interesting because I've got some statistics to throw right at you, Abby. Before I tell you though, do you know roughly how many people plan on celebrating Valentine's Day this year in the UK?
In the UK, I reckon
Hmm.
a fair few million.
How many is a fair few million?
5. So, not 5 people, 5 million.
5 million people. Okay, so you are way off. So, according
Okay.
to the statistics that I have found, approximately 28 to over 40 million people in the UK are expected to participate in some form this year in Valentine's Day
Jesus
celebrations.
Christ.
Yep. Over 60% of the population plan on doing something.
Good gosh, that's so many people, isn't it? Like, it
I
really
know.
goes to show, though, actually, like, so many people I know just don't celebrate Valentine's Day. And I don't know if it's a generation thing or not, but actually hearing those statistics, it goes to show that it's actually a pretty big day. Like, I would
Yeah.
never put Valentine's Day as, like, one of these, like, seasonal holidays that we have, like Christmas and Easter and all those. But actually, that holds quite a bit of significance, doesn't it?
I was really, really, really shocked because, like you, I don't really know that many people that celebrate. I've not really ever known many people that tend to celebrate. So those are really big numbers. And I'm kind of questioning,
Mm.
where are all these lovebirds genuinely? Or do people just celebrate in silence nowadays? Because I guess I have quite strong opinions on what I think about Valentine's Day. And I wonder whether people just don't tell me that they're celebrating because they know that I'm just going to be rolling my eyes and being like, oh, you've fallen into that trick of this special romantic day. Whereas actually, I think it's all a money grabbing scheme.
I mean, to be fair, I do as well. I do as well with Valentine's Day. It wouldn't surprise me if people are kind of just being like, they're trying to act cool in front of you and being like, yeah, for Valentine's Day, we're going to eat it, mate. And then they're going and having like a steak dinner with their partner, like candle lit and rose petals everywhere. They're like, shh, can't tell
Mm.
Hayley because she'll joke.
Yeah.
She'll judge us.
When people share things on their social media, they probably, click on the 3 dots, make it really clear that Hayley should not see this.
Like,
Hayley,
hide this
not you.
story from Hayley. Just Hayley. And maybe Manuel, because otherwise
Yeah.
he'll dob us into Hayley. Oh,
But
there we go.
yeah, I'm not a Valentine's Day girl. I don't get it, to be honest with you, Abby. Now I've been happily married for a very long time, and neither of us give two shits about Valentine's Day.
Because yeah, if you've been in a long-term relationship and actually you've never celebrated Valentine's Day, it's just never held any significance to you, then it's always going to be like that. So it makes sense that, like, especially as the years go on, because you've spent so many years not celebrating it, it does probably seem like, what the fuck is all this day about? And plus, I do
Mm,
think Valentine's Day does tend, over time, it has been getting worse in terms of like the materialistic stuff and actually, I remember back in the day, I don't know whether I was just being naive or maybe like I just grew up poor or something, I don't know. But like Valentine's Day was very much like you'd send a card to somebody with a question mark and you don't know who it's from. And that's how I always
mm,
think of Valentine's Day. Yet you suddenly
yeah,
find yourself in relationships or you see people in relationships and they're spending so much money. It's like a whole other birthday, a whole other Christmas. And there's this
yeah,
expectation to buy like a gold ring or like you get engaged or like
hmm,
even just big massive bouquets of flowers that get delivered to your door. And I think that it seems to be getting
yeah,
so much bigger than it
hmm,
is, with like
yeah,
restaurants propping up their prices. They just know they're going to get money out of people for this one particular day.
mm,
That as
yeah,
you see that and you don't really celebrate Valentine's Day, it's going to prevent you even more from actually wanting to do it. It's not going to change your mind anytime soon because all you see is
yeah,
the cash grab. And that takes the fun out of it, I think, big time.
yeah. Absolutely. I've noticed this year in particular that a lot of restaurants are now doing Valentine's meals. from the 13th to the 15th or 16th of February, you know, where they do this deal, like it's a 3-course meal for a fixed price. And I don't remember seeing as many of these deals in other years. And that makes me feel a bit frustrated because in previous years, Manuel and I have never celebrated, but we might have gone out for a meal around that date just because the 13th of February for me is a special date for other reasons. And I now feel a bit frustrated because everywhere I've looked to go for a meal this Friday, the 13th, they've all been fully booked, or it's been this special Valentine's meal, which has got a fixed price, which we're not interested in doing. And I just feel like, okay, that's a bit frustrating. If you want to do the Valentine's Day thing, do that on Valentine's Day. Why are you spreading that across, you know, a whole weekend now? That's where I think they're really taking the piss. But, you know, there are some Valentine's Day lovers out there. So, and also the cost of the gifts, people are now spending on average £105 per gift, Abby.
This is what I mean. Like it becomes like like everybody who's been catching up with the episodes, who has like watched every single episode so far, they know that I am frugal. Like, you know, I'm not hiding in that. I'm a very frugal person. So the fact that now on Valentine's Day, there's this idea that you spend even just more than £10, to be honest with you, I'm just like, no, that's not fun. That's not very good. And then you get people who might have been in a relationship before, go into a new relationship, but actually like their new partner maybe doesn't have as much money or something like that. Then they feel expected to match what this person is used to getting for Valentine's Day when it's not even their birthday. It's not an anniversary. I don't know. It just seems so silly, especially that much money. And if you've got the money, then great, because £105 probably seems like pennies to somebody that's got loads of money. But like to your average Mary and Joe, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Surely you can find other ways to spend that day together without having to buy presents like that. Like go back to the card. Just go back to the days of the card where you can write a really lovely message in there, and then you show this person how much you appreciate them through your actions on that day. I mean, technically, you should be doing that every single day, not just on one day. But
see, that's the exact approach that we have in our marriage. So when I admit that when I first met Manuel, I was only 18, and I did have this skewed view of Valentine's Day because it had been something that I celebrated in a previous relationship. And being so young, you kind of do buy into all of these like little holidays and special days, don't you? And I did get a little bit offended in the early days when Manuel didn't celebrate. I think there are obviously cultural differences, as I've talked about in previous episodes, you know, with Manuel being from Colombia, plus, you know, being a police officer, and he was always very busy and work was really intense. Valentine's Day was the last thing he gave a shit about. And I got very upset. But actually, I then realised that it wasn't the lack of gifts and things. It was more that he just didn't show an interest at all in any sort of holiday. So it wasn't just Valentine's Day. So it's kind of a broader problem. But what I did do in the early days, it's so cute. I actually wrote him a Valentine's poem, which is really
that's
sweet.
so
I
cute.
know. As you know, I love writing, and I used to write a lot of poems when I was younger. So I wrote him this really beautiful Valentine's poem, and I ended it saying, "And will you be my Valentine?" It was really lovely. And we've actually got it up on the wall, like in our bedroom. I think I gave it to him within I actually think it might have been the first Valentine's Day we spent together as a married couple.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was enough. It didn't need to be something big. And I explained to Manuel that for me, that was just a really nice way of marking the love that we had for each other. Yes, it was on Valentine's Day, but it wasn't, you know, he didn't have to spend lots of money on it. So that's a nice way to do it.
So sweet. It's also, I don't know, it's hard to imagine you doing something like that for Valentine's Day now. But actually, I think that's
why. Hang on, let's not gloss over that. Tell us why.
You just give it this odd stance of like Valentine's Day, no, big, we don't like Valentine's Day. And then you're there being like, what do you mean you can't see me writing a really lovey-dovey poem for Valentine's Day? And I'm like, because of the last 9 minutes and 31 seconds of this episode, Hayley.
Okay. Maybe I gave the wrong impression. I'm not anti doing lovely things and being a bit romantic. I'm anti keeping that for one day of the year. I've met people that go all out on Valentine's Day, yet the rest of the year, either the guy or the gal is completely shit when it comes to love and support. Whereas we're more about demonstrate that on a daily basis. Give what you can, share the load. Like today, as I've said to you, Abby, before we started recording, I am so fucking grumpy today. I was just lying on the sofa earlier, crying, not in a good mood. You know, just girl problems, everyone. And what did Manuel do, bless him? He got our youngest, said, we're just going to pop to Tesco. I need to withdraw some money. I was like, okay, didn't really think much of it. And he's come home with a bag full of treats, guys. A whole fucking bag full of these little Easter egg type things, because it's never too early to have Easter chocolate mochis, which I fucking love, mango juice thing that he knows I love. And he just came home and he was like, what do you want? You can have all of it. And I was like, see, that, guys, that is what you need to aspire for. Don't wait till Valentine's Day. You need somebody that's going to do this whenever you need it at any point.
Oh, that's really lovely. But it is that, isn't it? It's like, actually, it doesn't matter. People can have bad days all the time. Like, you should be consistent and show up for them. And it doesn't have to be like really romantic things like throwing rose petals everywhere. It's literally just the act of showing up for them, being a listening ear, showing that you appreciate them, helping, like not even helping them out, like around the house, but like taking workload off them. Those sorts of things are all super duper important and should be done every single day. And actually just having a day where you buy gifts and you go and do like go out for a meal or whatever, is that really like what's symbolic of love? Because I don't think so. I think it's being in a partnership where you support each other every single day through thick and thin when things get tough and when things are great, like you're just consistently there. So it's lovely to obviously go and have like a day which is all lovely, romantic and love hearts everywhere. But that doesn't define love. That's what love is. It's nice and it's great and it's time spent with your favorite person, but it's every other day actually that's much more like demonstrative of love. Did I say? I said at the beginning that I'm also kind of in agreement with Hayley that I do think it's a money grabbing scheme. However, I have always liked the idea of wanting to like Valentine's Day. And I think it's really sweet. And I think it must be so lovely to have that love where Valentine's Day feels so incredibly lovely and just fills you with so much joy, and it's great and you can really like dive yourself into it. I think realistically, like my track record of partners, it's just not been a thing. And I think when you're younger, you're a lot more susceptible to things. I think we had an episode of this, didn't we? Like shows you what love is supposed to be like. And so in this situation, if you're with somebody that doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day, like at a young age, you're also going to start developing this idea that Valentine's Day really isn't that serious and you don't celebrate it and it's just not that big of a deal. So then you take that into adulthood and you take that into your next relationships, and then you meet somebody else again who doesn't change your mind on it. They're the same. They're like, no, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day either. And if I can get away with not having to buy you flowers, then I'm going to do that. So then you get to this point that I think I'm at now where I have never celebrated Valentine's Day. And so it just doesn't register in my mind that it's like a thing that needs to be celebrated. I'm aware of it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to celebrate it. But actually, I would love to celebrate it. I would love to be somebody who, was also with somebody that really like loves all of like the lovey-dovey stuff like that. So it's, so it's not that I hate it. I just think it definitely, you can't deny it. Anyone that's listening to this, even if you celebrate Valentine's Day, it definitely is a money grabbing scheme. You've got to admit that. Like, they wouldn't be bulking their prices up if it wasn't a money grabbing scheme. But equally at the same time, it must be so nice to be so shrouded in love with somebody who also loves love that you can then go and have this really romantic day and you really throw yourself into it. I mean, I am doing something for Valentine's Day, which I think is going to be really lovely. I am going to see my favourite band in Nottingham, which was a Christmas gift from my partner. And so we're going to go and we're going to try and make the day of it. And I mean, we're both at the moment, we're both quite frugal people. And so we were genuinely trying to look to see if the prices of like restaurants really did kick up. And the same what you noticed, Hayley, what we found is there's now suddenly like Valentine's Day set menus everywhere for the 14th. Or equally what we found as well, which is really bloody annoying, is having a voucher to something for some reason excludes Valentine's Day. Or like we've got these there was like a voucher that we both got for a Turtle Bay that I thought, oh, there's a Turtle Bay in Nottingham, we could go there and like unlimited cocktails or whatever. But the voucher that we got, even though it was recently sent to us, it was like £20 off a £50 spend. I thought that's pretty good. But it stops on the 13th of February. And I'm like, that's not just a coincidence. That is because they do not want people using that voucher on Valentine's Day because they know people are going to spend their monies. So it was, so there was part of us, it gets frustrating because it's like, well, we happen to be Nottingham anyway for the gig. It's not like we're doing this for Valentine's Day. It just happened to be that the gig is on Valentine's Day. But also we can incorporate Valentine's Day into it. But we don't want to spend loads of money when we just want to kind of go out, have a nice time together and not have to pay triple the prices. Like, this is the reason we're not staying over in the end, because the hotels sky high, like triple the price on any other day because it was Valentine's Day. And it was like, for God's sake, Royal Republic, if you're ever listening to this, I hope you are. I love you guys. Why did you have to do it on Valentine's Day? So expensive. So expensive.
And it's like the rich fuckers that own all of these restaurants and hotels forget that people are struggling to fucking pay their bills and feed their children. Yet they still don't give two shits about charging so much extra because of the fucking date. It's like, are poor people not allowed to love each other? I know that I've sat here and be like, I don't like Valentine's Day. That's because I'm in a very fortunate situation that my husband and I both have the same opinion and we're really not fussed. However, for other people, I do love that if you want to celebrate, I love that you do that. Right. I have a son who's 17. He's been in a relationship now for over a year and he is really excited about Valentine's this year. And I love that for him because I do think it's really sweet and lovely. And I believe that if you are in a relationship and your partner wants to celebrate it, that you should, put in the effort. I don't think that you need to expend extortionate amounts of money. And I don't think you have to go out for food into a restaurant. I think you can do really lovely things at home. And actually looking at the statistics earlier, Abby, it does show that there is an increase in people choosing to do things at home, like a movie night in, maybe get a takeaway, spending less money on a gift and maybe doing an experience rather than buying something physical. And I'm like, yes, I'm all for that. That's absolutely the way that I would probably do it. It's just so frustrating that people just want to take our money all the time.
They're exploiting love. They always say love is this really wonderful thing on this planet. And then all of the big bucks at the top are like, do you know what? We can make money from love. We're going to exploit the shit out of love. And that's exactly what they've done. Exactly what they've done. Then it's the same with Christmas, isn't it? Like, they stick a man in a red suit on everything and suddenly like people are going to go crazy and they're going to start spending money. They just know. Realistically, so every single year, like I said, I've never really been one for Valentine's Day because, like I said, we like the consistency every other day. Shouldn't need to then spend loads of money on one particular day to show that you love somebody. So instead of like getting excited for Valentine's Day, I get excited by the idea of February because then I know Pancake Day is literally straight after. And so I always usually skip Valentine's Day. And actually, I've always had a really lovely time with my partners doing Pancake Day instead, making a pancake
fucking love
station,
pancakes.
Lots of different toppings and, stick a movie on, maybe play some games or something in the evening and Bob's your uncle. Or you could go out and like go for dinner, like on Pancake Day or something and get like what you sent through where it was in Bill's, there's unlimited pancakes. Eat as many pancakes as you want. That to me, I think would be much more fun to do with my partner than going for like, I don't know, paying extortionate prices on Valentine's Day when you could just go get unlimited pancakes of literally like a few days later. And I think you'd have much more fun.
Pancakes are life. I think we need to do that together. We need to go and do the competition of who can eat the most pancakes. Fuck Valentine's Day.
I would try so hard, but I know full well that I would probably only be able to manage like 3.
Yeah, you're such a slow eater as well, whereas I'm just there like, stuffing it down my mouth. I always find myself eating so much more slowly when you're around. I'm really suffering, so I'm like, fucking hell, Abby, come on.
I don't know why I eat so slow. I've always done it. Like when you're in school and like you're always the last one at the table and like even the dinner ladies are like packing everything away and they're cleaning the tables and folding them up and you're just there still with your dinner. Even at home, it doesn't matter how old I get, I still eat so painfully slowly. And if I do try and rush, I'll just get a stomach ache because I'm pathetic.
No, you're doing it the healthy way, Abby. You are meant to eat slowly. I need to slow down. So, it's actually better for us to, chew a lot and then gradually swallow.
It just means my dinner goes cold, which sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. I've got a question for you then. Another little bit of a test to see if you know the answer about Valentine's Day.
Yes, I will marry you, Hayley. Oh, it's the Valentine's Day miracle.
Well, on that note, my question is, how many people roughly get engaged on Valentine's Day?
Is this like out like in the UK?
In the UK, yeah. How many people in the UK get proposed to / engaged on Valentine's Day?
Do you know what? I feel like there's a reason why I'm drawn to the number 5. I'm going to go for 5 million.
Oh gosh, that's a huge number. Lucky.
Oh, is it? 5,000. 5,000.
Not that many. No. That's too small. So, it's estimated that over 1 million people get engaged on Valentine's Day, and it is rated as the 3rd most popular day for proposals in the UK.
Only so 3rd.
Only 3rd. Yeah. What do you think of the other 2?
I reckon New Year's Eve is maybe 2nd. And Christmas Day is first.
Well done. Yes,
Oh,
you're
did I
right.
get it?
You did.
Humans,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
so
yeah.
predictable.
So predictable. But what is your opinion on somebody getting engaged on Valentine's Day?
Do you know what? I've not got a problem with that. I think that makes much more sense than any other time. I don't find Valentine's Day to be completely representative of love because, like I said, that's not how you show love. It's not through like the gifts and going out for dinner. I think that's quality time spent together more than anything. But it is a day that is represented by love. And I suppose if somebody has, I don't know, they've gone for like a really lovely meal or something like that, and you go for a really lovely stroll, and it might be a time that actually you're connecting with the other person a little bit more. Like, so let's say you've like had stressful weeks or something, and this is like time that you have allocated to your partner because that's just what works for you, then it makes sense that in this little love bubble that you're in, surrounded by love hearts and rose petals and all of that stuff, would be the time to do a really romantic gesture like getting engaged. Because realistically, like, yeah, it's a romantic gesture that you can do obviously New Year's Eve and on Christmas Day as well, but like the link there doesn't really exist. So actually to do a big bold romantic gesture on the day that's supposed to be representing love makes perfect sense, and I don't hate that. I could just imagine though, I think because it's so predictable that you would do it on Valentine's Day, that's the only
Yeah.
thing that's like, why don't you surprise them? Like, why don't you do it in like the middle of fucking, I don't know, January and up a mountain or something like that? But I don't know. That's just me.
I think it's lazy. I'm not going to lie. I think it's predictable. I think
Woo!
it's lazy. I think that you are taking the easy route out because you're going to go to a restaurant where it's decorated. The meal is being cooked for you. You are paying for everything. I think that's lazy. If you want to propose, you need to put the fucking effort in. Get out here tonight, guys. I told you I was grumpy today. Ask me my
Woo!
opinion tomorrow and it will be different. But yes, that's my opinion today.
I can see it from that side as well. I think, it's definitely predictable. It's 100% predictable, but equally, it makes sense that it would be that day, I suppose.
But then there are 364 other days of the year where you can create something that's so much more niche and related to your relationship. Why would you choose a generalized money grabbing day that, yes, supposedly represents love? How many people actually know the backstory of Valentine's Day? Do you know where Valentine's Day comes from? Do you know the backstory?
Wasn't it like it goes back to like the gods and like the god of love? I can't remember which one it is. One of them like wanted this other god, didn't know how to get her, so he sent Cupid after her, and that's how he used his arrow. And you don't know. I thought
I
you were
don't,
about to, like, I know the story, and you're going to
No,
tell us.
I've not heard that thing. So I'm by no means claiming that I'm an expert in this at all. I have literally done the smallest bit of research for this episode because I don't give two shits about Valentine's Day, but I thought I should know something. And the little bit of research that I did didn't show me that story, but I could be absolutely wrong. But I found here that Valentine's Day actually goes all the way back to ancient Rome. There was a
Oh, it was
festival
like Saint
called...
Valentine or something.
That came a little bit later. So this was pre-Saint Valentine. Prior to that, all the way back to ancient Rome, there was a festival called, this is where I might pronounce this really poorly, but Lupercalia, something like that. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
But apparently this festival was all to do with survival, fertility, health. I think basically people just had a load of sex because it was all about
100%.
reproducing. Yes, there was like loads of like big orgies and everyone was having sex. They were trying to reproduce. And apparently it was a really good time in the year for people to start reproducing. Women would fall pregnant at that time of year. So that's kind of the ancient Rome story. And then years later, that's when Saint Valentine came along, who, according to the legend, used to secretly get couples married, even though it was banned for them. And there is some theories around him kind of signing notes and putting, from Valentine. So it kind of...
Okay, so that's how the card thing came about.
Exactly.
Your
Yeah.
mystery
So, and that was
Valentine.
around the same time, so around February. And then there was also another thing that I read, which was around birds mating, also around mid-February. So because of the ancient Rome and the fertility aspects, then you've got the Saint Valentine and marrying people secretly, again around the same time. And then you've also got birds that would mate around the same time. So it's kind of over the years developed into this idea that mid-February represents love, basically. And then that's over the years, they've marked the 14th of February as Valentine's Day.
I mean, all I'm
So
taking away from this is that we're doing Valentine's Day wrong, guys. We all just need to be having big orgies because that's
that's
how
what I'm
it
taking from
started.
it.
That is how it started. You send someone an invite to your orgy, you sign it as their Valentine, so you got that little aspect to it, and then you all just take your kit off and just have at each other. Doesn't that sound so much more fun than
I mean, I'd
spending
be down for that.
80 quid on a 5-course meal?
I'm down. Should we do it? Takes us
Should we
back
start
to
the new?
our.
We'll start the new tradition. Takes us back to the summer house.
Takes us back to the summer house, Abby.
Oh, the
Sorry,
secrets
there's
we have,
me.
guys.
There's Abby like, oh, we can start a new tradition. And I'm there like, oh, this takes me back. The stuff we haven't talked about on the episodes yet.
Our tradition started a long time ago. Once upon a time in a little summer house one summer, there were some horny people
In Norfolk, of all places.
in Norfolk, in little Norfolk. Oh, dearie me. I mean, that's
Brilliant.
interesting. Yeah, so I actually, now that you've said that story, that does ring a bell. But like I said, from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, because I think they covered this and they had like something like witchified, and it was to do with that, like whatever it's called. And that is, yeah, you literally like, I think you like wooed somebody, and then like they all went out into like a forest. I mean, obviously this is probably not, this is Sabrina the Teenage Witch, everyone is, this is like not fact. And then like they would go out into the woods and they're like all run, and then the first person that like you find or come across, you're basically just supposed to shag there and then in the forest. And where's that gone? Why are we not doing that?
How did we go from that to 5-course meals for £100 in bloody Bill's restaurant?
And spending £105 on average on like gift giving and getting engaged. Nah, take each other's kids off.
I am wondering though, Abby, Wetherspoons will be doing a Valentine's meal this year.
Wetherspoons, a succulent Wetherspoons meal. Wait, let me have a look. I'm gonna have a look now.
She's actually gonna have a look.
There's bound to be, because it's Spoons. They do something special for. I'm surprised I didn't get a notification on the app actually, because they're usually like, "Hey girl, we got something special for you."
You're one of our top spenders.
Like, girl, you've not been in for 2 weeks. Come back to us. Here's a Valentine's Day special. Okay, Valentine's Day 2026, Wetherspoons. They are. So they're doing a 2 dine for £25. So from the Valentine's menu, they've even got a Valentine's Day menu that's probably going to be the exact same stuff. They're probably just going to put a love heart with it. Your microwaved paninis, but they'll stamp a grilled love heart on it. From the Valentine's menu, you'll be able to choose from a selection of 2 main meals, 2 desserts, and 2 drinks, with the option to upgrade to a bottle of Prosecco for £5 extra.
Wow, so much choice. Oh, I don't know what to choose.
I suppose realistically, so £25, you're getting 2 main meals, so what did they say? 2 desserts, 2 drinks. That's not too bad, to be honest. I mean, that definitely sounds like a Spoons Valentine's Day.
It's too bad.
Yeah, that's 2 meals and 2 desserts.
That's a bargain.
And
it's
2
not
drinks.
too bad.
I thought you were going to be like, that's more
bargain. I mean, it's too expensive for my liking because I'd just not go there. I don't want to. I'd rather pay £100 in Bill's restaurant, to be honest with you.
Did you imagine though? Like, can you imagine going to Wetherspoons? You're like, do you know what? I want to show my girl how much I love her. I'm going to take her to Spoons. And when you're at Spoons, you're like, do you know what? The time is right. I feel it. And you get down on one knee and you pull out a ring in the middle of Spoons on the sticky floors. That's the dream, guys. I want to get proposed to in Spoons. And everyone's there. You know how everyone like claps and everything? Like you go to a posh restaurant, everyone will be like, lovely, lovely, yes. And they're all clapping. In Spoons, honestly, you'll get a load of men going, shit, fuck her up, yes. And then you're going to get people like banging the tables like, and I just think that kind of chaos is exactly the sort of celebration you want when you've just proposed to your girl. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean, no, to be honest.
Well, I don't
not following.
I'm
not following. Not following. Don't ever want to see that. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's move on. No more talk about the Spoons. Honestly, at this rate, we need to start getting bloody what do you call it?
Yeah, you know, like when they like they give you money to advertise or whatever.
Yes, exactly. We need to be.
Where are you, Spoons? We've mentioned you like twice now in our episodes. Like, and obviously our podcast is doing so well. Like, you need to get in on this before we obviously hit the big time.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you can give some discounts, I would not be too mad about that. Well, something else that we wanted to talk about in this one as well is people's love languages, didn't we?
Yeah.
And this is something that I think I'm still figuring out what mine is. And I think it changes. And I suppose Valentine's Day, like you look at the statistics, I suppose the people that are doing the gift giving, going out and having like these really flamboyant days, it might be a case that actually their love language is something like receiving gifts. or like, I don't know, quality time. And actually that then fits in with Valentine's Day. So I wonder if people who have a certain love language are more likely to want to celebrate Valentine's Day as opposed to, I don't know, someone that's got like, I don't know, someone might have acts of service or something as a love language. And actually it doesn't really appeal to them Valentine's Day because it doesn't, I don't know, link with their love language. But what do you think
Mm.
your love language is, Hayley?
So I'm just gonna say what all of them are, just because I'm mindful that not everyone would have heard of love languages and they might be unsure of what they are. So, kind of evidence research suggests that there are kind of 5 main ways in which we express love to one another, and we've all got preferences as to which way we prefer to express and receive love. So we've got words of affirmation, which are things like using kind, encouraging words to each other to express gratitude, positivity, etc. You've got quality time, which I think is really self-explanatory. We've got acts of service, which is where you would perform helpful tasks for each other, share responsibilities, things like helping out around the house. Come on, guys, do better. We've then got receiving gifts, very self-explanatory. And then we've got physical touch, again, very self-explanatory. Abby, what do you think mine are?
I feel like yours would be either quality time or words of affirmation.
I'd
Because
say both of those.
you're definitely not a gift, definitely not a gift one.
Don't-
And actually, acts of service, I feel like you don't necessarily need that to be your love language because you and Manuel are so good at just supporting each other anyway that actually that's not what's important because that just happens naturally. Whereas actually, I feel
Yeah.
like you're somebody that does like likes reassurance, likes. I mean, you've even said you're like, I'm Haley and I love all the compliments. I want you to compliment me every day. I think you said in one of your episodes.
Yes.
So I think
Yeah.
words of affirmation, but then also, yeah, quality time because you always make time for each other as well. That's really important to you.
Yeah, agree. I think those are my top 2. I don't even think that I would separate those 2 in terms of importance. I think they're equally as important for me. I would prefer quality time over any sort of gift. I'm not really a materialistic person. I consider myself fairly minimalist, actually. Manar's very sweet, bless him. He is good with gifts. You know, even if it's just small things, he will bring me flowers. And like today, he came home with a lovely bag of treats and stuff. But it's not something that I expect and it's not something that I require. I would much prefer to just go out for a lovely walk with him than get those things. It's nice to have both, of course, but yeah.
Mhm.
And yes, I do need a lot of reassurance and I can be a little bit needy. So thank you, Manuel, for being so lovely with your words.
What what do you think? What would you say mine is? I think mine changes, and I don't even know what mine is really.
I was gonna say, there's me like heartless bitch. I don't think you've got any.
Wow, she really is grumpy, guys.
I'm so grumpy.
Get
No,
those smacks in her now.
Yes, I need to get out some more chocolate. No, jokes aside, I would say that for you, so I don't think receiving gifts is important for you. I think we're quite similar in that, I'd like to think.
Mhm.
I think that quality time, I do think you enjoy quality time. Now, I think physical touch might be more important for you than I think it is because you're not really a touchy person with your friends, or at least we've never been touchy, but I believe that you are potentially more physically in your romantic relationships. So maybe
Mhm.
that? Am I completely wrong?
I mean, I don't know because I'm still learning what my love language is. And I think like we're 2 very good examples of how like different love languages can be and how they can change over time. So because you've been in a long-term relationship for so long, I'm sure your love language has remained the same because it's consistent. You've been with the same person. Whereas
Mm,
actually, because I have had previous partners and obviously I've had a horrible end to a relationship where that's changed me as a person, I then feel like my love language has changed and I'm still figuring out what that is. I would
mm,
agree with you though. I think everyone's going to be quite shocked about this who knows me, but I think physical touch is actually very important to me. And I'm not touchy feely. I can't do hugs with anybody else, but actually, partners, I love all the
mm.
touch. I just want to, I have to be touching them like pretty much most of the time, except for when I'm trying to sleep. Don't touch me when I'm trying to sleep. Yeah, I like it, the hand holding, the kisses. I don't know, the hand on the back, I don't know,
Mm,
have to be touching. Quality time, definitely, I think.
yeah.
And I used to be very big on acts of service, but I think that's because it was coming from a place of where I was doing a lot of the work and actually I then developed this idea that if someone came home and cooked for me one time in the month, it felt so nice that that happened that it made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And so I thought that was my love language. But I
Mm.
think that was just me crying out for someone to fucking help me out with some fucking cleaning.
And actually, on that note, I think it's really hard when you're in a relationship and your love language is very different to your partner's love language. So what would you say Manuel's love language is? Do you know?
I reckon his one is acts of service.
Yeah, do you know what? I'd agree with that. He's not really that bothered about words of affirmation, doesn't give a shit about gifts either. Quality time is really important for him. So I think that's potentially up there. Whereas actually, do you remember when we first kind of met each other, Emmanuel would just like spend hours in front of his computer and I
Yeah.
had to go in and be like, are you married to me or are you married to your computer, dude? And so, in earlier years, quality time wasn't as important to him, whereas I think now it's probably up there as one of his top love languages. But yeah, I think acts of service is really important to him. But you've already said we're quite good at sharing the load. Whereas whenever he goes away, or like, for example, when he comes down to Norwich to see you, for example, just goes away for a couple of days, on the day that he comes home, I always spend a good few hours cleaning the house, but like, more deeply than I would normally do. When we're both at home, it's just kind of like a half-arse, keep on top of it kind of clean. Whereas when
Yeah.
he goes away, I make sure that both the kids get involved and we literally almost do a spring clean of the whole house. And then when he walks in, his whole face just lights up and he's like, thank you so much. He would much
Oh,
prefer that over anything. So I'd agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All languages are interesting. And I think you can change and they can chop and change. And I think they can change depending on the person that you're with as well. Because I think realistically, it's kind of like what needs are being met and what needs aren't being met as to what you kind of then
Mm,
cry out for. I think that's really important to consider with Valentine's Day because, like I said, I think people who have certain love languages just really are not fussed about celebrating Valentine's Day. And actually, they would much rather
mm,
do stuff like you said, they'll rather stay home or they'd rather look forward to Pancake Day.
mm.
And I think it's really important to say as well, as much as like me and Haley have kind of been like, oh, we're just not really down with Valentine's Day. It doesn't mean that like we're heartless and we don't like love or anything like that. It's really not. It's just that we feel love should be consistent every single day and it shows up in different ways. And we
Yeah.
just get really frustrated with how many things now in the world are just trying to take as much money from people as possible and exploiting people. And
Yeah.
I genuinely, for Valentine's Day, I do feel sorry for men because I feel like you're the
Mm,
ones that are under the most pressure. You're the ones that potentially are being pressured to have to propose or make it
yeah.
really romantic or take your girlfriend or wife out and treat her. And I feel like you're the ones that are spending all of the money. So I can imagine men would maybe be a bit more like, "Ugh, fucking Valentine's Day." But
Mm,
equally, like you said, Haley, they'll choose to celebrate and they'll choose to do it because they know that that's what their partner wants. So I think
mm.
absolutely, if you are with somebody who loves the idea of Valentine's Day, you don't have to go over the top. Just meet each other halfway and be like, okay, I see this is important for you. Let's go and do something. But can
Yeah.
we kind of keep a minimum spend? Can we not go crazy with gifts? Can we maybe just focus on spending time together rather than spending
Yeah.
£105 on something? And yeah, and just see how you go.
And be consistent with your love, show your love every single day in different ways. Guys, help out at home with the kids. Women, don't put too much pressure on you guys. I think it is just every single day putting in the effort. If you've got money to spend and you love it, go for it. If you don't, no pressure, guys. You can have a really lovely day at home without spending much money.
And if you want to
Or
go halfway, you just go spoons.
I was just going to say that. Spoons is always an option, guys.
25 quid, guys. Get yourself a spoons.
So I am now going to bring us towards the end of our episode on Valentine's Day. And as with all of our other episodes, we have a lovely tradition where we ask Bob, our ChatGPT, a question related to the topic we have been talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bob, does Valentine's Day actually hold any significance at all? Or is it a money grabbing scheme?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I bet he's going to agree with
So,
us.
do you think so?
Yeah.
I'm
Especially
not
your
sure.
Bob. Especially your Bob.
Okay, so this is my Bob, and it will be slightly skewed. Bob obviously knows that I don't like these kind of things. So Bob says, short answer, it's both. Valentine's Day does have genuine historical meaning, but the version we experience today is heavily commercialized. I think that's essentially what we've been trying to get at, isn't it? So Valentine's Day traces back loosely to two things. Lupercalia. I am probably pronouncing that incorrectly. I am so sorry. Somebody please teach me how to say that. But that is an
That's
ancient
to do with the moon, isn't it?
Lupercalia. I don't know, Lupercalia, an ancient Roman mid-February festival about fertility, health and surviving winter. It was very practical and there were no roses involved, guys. And then later on, St. Valentine came along, who's a figure associated with secretly marrying couples. And over time, his story became linked with romance, devotion and connection. And then by the Middle Ages, as I've said, people started believing that birds mated in mid-February, and that helped to cement this whole idea of Valentine's as a love day. So it did start out being about connection, rebellion and choosing love, but not about buying things. But then obviously you fast forward a few hundred years and capitalism arrives. Yay!
Yay!
Yay. So today, Valentine's is a huge commercial event. Obviously, cards, flowers, jewelry, meals, experiences, massive marketing pressures, and this quiet message of prove your love with purchases. So Bob says that part, yes, absolutely a money-making machine.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.
I think that's probably like the general consensus, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just depends
Yeah,
on
I
whether
think I'd
you
agree.
love enough to want to spend loads of money. And if you do, woohoo, go for it. Absolutely. Go and have at it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that will take your money. And if you don't, if you love, but you don't want to spend loads of money, then do something at home. Just, be a bit more attentive with your partner. Again, though, you should be doing that every single day. But if actually you just, you've all had long weeks and you just want to actually find some time spent with each other, and Valentine's Day is a day that you've been able to do that, then that's also great. You don't have to break the bank to show the other
Also,
person that you love them.
guys, if you are a father and you are with the mother of your child, I can guarantee you that rather than buying her any sort of expensive gift, let her have a lie-in, make the food, clean up the dishes, and just let her have a chill day. We don't get those very often. That is worth its weight in gold.
There we go. Look at that. You're welcome, everybody, for the free advice. Hopefully they take it. So there we go. By the time you guys are listening to this, it should be Valentine's Day tomorrow. Have fun. Whatever you choose to do, have fun.
Have sex, guys. It's free and it's fun. Have a great fuck.
You heard it here first, folks. Go and have a good fuck. Enjoy love for every part of it that it has to offer. And just don't spend too much money.